There we go.
Live. We are live. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Chiropractic Is Sexy. I am Dr. Paula Ruffin.
And I am Dr. Erica Peabody, and you can literally see like the sun shining off my face, and I'm so grateful.
It's so amazing.
It is. I know you get a ton of natural light in your office too.
It's so great. And boy, what a huge relief to see some sunshine. I did a video yesterday and I said we had 1 extra minute. We finally hit the 6 p.m. mark for sunset.
Love
And
it.
and by the end of February, our sunset will be 6:21. So we got 20 more minutes to look forward to in 2 more weeks.
Love it.
Woo-hoo!
And that's just the end of the day. So it must do 20 minutes at the beginning of the day or something too. I'm curious.
I don't know how that works. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I don't really care because I'm up when it's dark anyway. So
Right. True. For that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so speaking of the weather, we're talking today about chronic fatigue and brain fog and stress and this weather is just ripe for all of us to be feeling that. So, leaning into the light, holding on to hope that we're making it through. I did a Sunday night live talking about light and weather and all of that. And of course, Ken threw me a wrench and he said, "What about at the equator when it's equal all year long?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't prepared for that, Ken."
Yeah. Don't ask us trick questions.
Tell exactly.
No, it's funny. So I tell my patients, I'm like, we're solar powered. And they're like, your building is solar powered. I'm like, no, as humans, we are so solar powered, so solar powered.
Yes.
And our mood and our health and our brain and our sleep and all the things we talk about, we are truly solar powered. And, it's one of those things in a chiropractic office. Everybody wants to talk about the weather and we choose not to, unless people are saying it's raining and I couldn't go out today. It's like, put a rain jacket on or still get your movement anyways. Your excuses don't work here. That's really the only time that we'll kind of talk about it. But we are really solar powered and it matters a lot. I did my undergrad in Anchorage, Alaska, and we had 4 hours of daylight.
He asked me about Alaska too. I was like, I don't know, Ken.
I'll figure
it out later.
Well, 4 hours of daylight in Anchorage, and then in the summertime, it gets dusk, only dusk. Like it doesn't get dark, which is another situation, separate kind of situation. But in my home, I don't have window coverings on my bedroom. So literally in the middle of summer, even in Michigan, I kind of start to feel zombie-like because I'm letting the sun kind of dictate when I get up and when I go to sleep, and I just get jazzed up by it. So yeah.
I'm the same way. I cannot, there's this whole, I know it's a concept that helps people, but put room darkening blinds in so you don't get which I think is obnoxious when your neighbor has to light their house up like the freaking airport just, for their outside lights. It's like, that's not necessary. And then it's shining in your house. But I still also then choose to, same thing. My room is always kind of a little light, especially with the way the moon was.
Yeah.
And is that like, I just would imagine that's just part of training yourself to sleep properly. Yeah. And then you feel more refreshed when you're waking up naturally. If I'm in a hotel and the blinds are completely closed, I won't wake up right. I'm like, and then when I wake up, I'm groggy because I didn't have that natural light giving me that slow movement of cortisol into my morning.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's great. It's really great. When I first moved home, I moved in with my parents just to figure out what I was going to do and open my practice and all that. And I was in a basement room and it had an egress window, but the window was covered. And it was like, I have absolutely no idea what time it is. And it actually was a good time in life to have that because I needed to be able to chill out and really like get some rest and recovery from 10 years of being away and doing all the things that needed to happen. So, but yeah, it really does matter. And when I get to look out in this beautiful blue sky up here and sunshine as I'm making this video with you guys, it's making me happy.
I know, it's so great.
Yeah.
So, all right, I want to dive into this because we have had these conversations with regards to when the body doesn't feel safe, it won't heal. So when you're under stress, when you have this brain fog, these are signals for you. I have been finding myself really swapping the word symptom with signals because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we've been able
Like that.
to minimize that word symptom. We don't think of it as an alarm bell anymore. So if we start to think of symptoms as signals, now we can go, oh, well, what does that actually mean? So when the body doesn't feel safe, when it feels like it's being chased by a tiger at all times, here's when you say, not you, Dr. Erica, maybe you sometimes, but you meaning all of us, when we say, I'm not stressed, yes, you are. We all have stress. I was laying in bed last night. I had driven my daughter to the airport and I got a call from her at 10:05. I thought maybe the plane was delayed. Nope, she missed her flight. She was sitting two things away. And she was like, I don't know what I was doing. I was at the wrong gate. So now I am thinking, do I have to jump out of bed? Do I have to go get her? What's going to happen? So I'm on the phone with her. It's 11. It's after 11. I had to get up at 5. These things happen. And then I'm worried about her. Is she spending the night in the airport? What's she doing? Is she safe? There's no amount of human movement through this world that isn't without its stressful moments. The problem is those compound upon each other over and over. And so that will get us into things like altered cortisol. So you're waking up at 2 a.m. We get into our heart rate variability where now we've got all these people with all these cardiovascular issues and atrial fibrillation. We've got inflammatory signaling going on in the form of migraine headaches, digestive health, chronic pain, chronic aches, autoimmune issues. Blood sugar is like ridiculously off the charts. And our vagus nerve, which helps with rest, digestion, and repair, is like pretty much absent. So, Dr. Erica, I have a question for you because when we talk about regulating the nervous system, we need to help people recognize what does it mean. So we tell them breath work, supplements, detoxing. But if we can first identify, I'm going to go through these 5 and then let's unpack them. So chronic tension patterns, invisible stress responses, pain without injury, emotional reactivity, and exhaustion masked as aging. So let's tackle that first one first. How would we help people identify chronic tension patterns? What does that mean?
Well, if you're a human on the top side of the grass, let's just start there, right? But I think, was it last week we were talking about how chronic stress and we just keep normalizing,
minimize, normalize.
And that it's okay. And we have people coming in and they're like, they'll mark anxiety, but then they'll say, I just have a normal amount of stress or I'm not stressed at all. And chronic, so there's 2 sections of the nervous system. There's the sympathetic, which is fight and flight. And it's like, this is an emergency. And all of our blood is redirected out to the arms and legs rather than to the vital organs. And then we have the parasympathetic, which is like putting the brake pedal on. And the brake pedal is like feed and breathe, rest and relaxation, regroup, evolve, heal, immune system, immune response. And so we can't be in both places. And the only way that, number one, bringing awareness to it, but this sympathetic overdrive is actually a lot of times where we see infants in our practice, like they're stuck on the gas pedal because of the way that they came into the world or the environment they came into or their birth process or whatever. And it starts from like day 1 of life. And then you're just kind of keep going like that. So normalizing chronic stress is like, it's never been okay, but it's really not okay these days with the rest of the things going on and spinning in our world. So,
and I had a patient the other day, he was new, but then he said, as I was talking to him about, he came in for neck and shoulder pain but then we were talking about nervous system regulation and what I'm really doing, not cracking bones and reconnecting the brain signals to the body. And then after this conversation, he said something like, I don't think my 7-year-old probably isn't ready to see a chiropractor yet, but maybe we could do something nutritionally because he has ADD. And I said, oh, and then
it's so hard to not roll our eyes, you guys, at this.
Yeah. And I said, well, actually, and I started to tell him, I said, his brain is dysregulated if he has ADD.
Mhm.
And dad's got ADD and dad's medicated and the kid's medicated. And I'm like, that's not the answer, but it's the answer that these poor people have been told is their path forward in life.
Mhm.
And that makes me mad. Not,
Mhm.
you know, and I don't want to say that in a sense that it's not his fault. It's our system's fault
Mhm.
because they will not offer anything else. They don't know anything else to offer. So now we have a grown man who is medicated for ADD and then the 7-year-old son,
Mhm.
and not okay. Like, what's the path out? There isn't one. You're now in the system.
One of our colleagues posted yesterday, and I was going to share it, and then I'm like, I want to expound upon it so much more than just share it. And he said, a 12-year-old goes into the MD and they have migraine headaches, and that MD puts them on a medication. That is not okay, because those migraine headaches, I had migraines for years, for a good portion of my life. My migraines went away when I had heart surgery in 2019. Now, I was also getting adjusted all along the way through my entire life. I would get adjusted. One time I was living with my uncle who's a chiropractor, and I woke up at 2 a.m. I had a migraine. He adjusted me at 2 a.m. because we crossed paths in the kitchen. And then he adjusted me again at 6 a.m. when he got up, at 9 a.m. when I went into work, and then at noon before I left for lunch. And then I got checked 5 times in one day. And after the 5th adjustment, because it just was like my body was under so much stress. But I'm telling you guys, okay, so you're going to this ADD and ADHD patient that you're talking about. You go and take them in, and they put them on medication. When do they come off? Like, this can no longer be the answer, because those are psychopharmaceutical drugs. And not only does it put a damper on their energy level and expression in the world, it puts a damper on their life force. And that, I mean, the trickle and ripple effects of that, it's no longer okay. It's just not. And I have teacher after teacher after teacher in my office these days. I'm sure you do too. And they're like, we can't even teach because there's so many dysregulated humans in these small bodies with big emotions. And they're like, we can't even teach anymore. I don't even want to do this. And they say this to me all the time. I don't even want to do this anymore. I can't even breathe in my days anymore.
And then we go to the whole, oh, it's just better diagnosis. No, it's not, you guys.
No,
it's not.
No.
We have a sick world.
Yeah.
Our kids are getting sicker by the minute, and better diagnosis is not the reason. This is not the reason. If we just think back to when we were in school, it was like, you know, you knew the one kid who had behavioral issues, who could only go to certain classes, who had to spend his time with certain counselors. Like, you knew the one kid in school who had behavioral issues.
Right.
It's not, it's the norm of the classroom now. It's the whole of the classroom. And you're lucky to have a couple regulated kids in there. So we need to get these kids under chiropractic care so we can get them regulated, so we can prevent them from getting into the cycle of medication from a young age. And again, when we're talking about chronic stress, these kids, like, it's so easy also for parents then to think that, what does my kid have to be stressed out about? Kids are kids. I mean,
we lost her. No, kids are kids, and there's so many things bombarding their systems, not only in the school, but just bombarding their systems everywhere. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
we lost her.
Yeah.
She's back. Uh-oh.
I went to wipe a dog hair off of my keyboard.
We're here. She's back. So yeah, no, just talking about like the kids, like it's a higher and higher percentage. I wouldn't say it's a majority, but it's getting darn close to 50%.
It's pretty darn
And
close.
when you have 30 children in a classroom and 15 of them are having a challenging time, for the teacher to then say this child can't come back until they're medicated, which is kind of where it started, but now it's completely like, you guys, I don't want to call it devolving over the last 15 years, but what I've seen in practice over 21 years at this point. And Dr. Paulette, where are you at? 27, 28? I don't know. 28 years. There's been like a major backstep in health, in brain health, in brain function. So if you're medicating kindergarten, first, second grade, what in the world happens to them? Add 5 years, add 10 years, add 15 years, and add 20 years, and then add their entire adult life. Like, where are we going? What is happening? It's more than just get them on pills. It's so much about eat well, move the body, get your water and stay hydrated, prioritize sleep, get those positive juju, positive affirmations going, and get adjusted, because the nervous system is controlling all of it. So let's start there. It would be absolutely amazing is on your way into school, if a chiropractor and a table were at each door of the school, wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh, that'd be so great.
Completely different situation.
Yeah. Well, and also consider, I know you said that it's not quite the majority. It's half. 50% of all kids have some kind of chronic disease. And what is a chronic disease? It could be asthma, allergies, eczema, headaches, ADD, ADHD, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, digestive issues, Crohn's, colitis, your general belly aches. Did I say headaches already? Migraines, any kind of other behavioral issue, not normal. Diabetes, how many kids now have type 2 diabetes? that is a human created, and then any of the other autoimmune issues.
Right.
We are creating our own chronic diseases, and parents must start to regulate the household.
Right.
Get their kids under chiropractic care, get the parents under chiropractic care. This is about getting everybody to be able to make the best possible decisions for themselves, for the family, and then start to feed and fuel your family properly in a way that does not then feed into all the chronic health issues. And I'm going to bring this up. I hope it doesn't get a shadow ban, but there's now an outbreak of measles. All right. And of course, every time something like this happens, it's blamed on the unvaccinated. Mm-hmm. You know what? They didn't actually tell us who is usually they'll say not fully vaccinated. They're not saying that in this story, you guys. And so when you hear that word not fully vaccinated, what that means, and I'm going to completely speculate. Let's use the word allegedly. That seems to be used a lot lately these days, but allegedly a child got the jab. It's MMR jab. It got one dose. And because of that, because it sheds, so yes, it sheds for up to 6 weeks, which means they can cough, sneeze, saliva, anything. And that virus is coming out of that child's saliva and nasal passages. And then, so that can get spread onto other people. And now the child has that disease in their body. And now, boom, guess what happens? You've just given them the disease. Now they have it. Then the report says not fully vaccinated, which means they got it from the first jab. They just haven't gotten the second one yet. Yeah. Like, it's such a farce. You have to really pay attention and don't fall victim to the fear narratives. Mm-hmm. And it is not okay for them to do that, because it's all I'll call it a ruse to get more people to line up to get these incredibly poisonous toxins that that they want to put straight into your bloodstream that are creating the very chronic illnesses that we're getting today.
Right.
They do not help your health, period.
Well, so the other part, just to piggyback on top of that, is that a lot of that's changing, and it's changing for a good reason. And it never should be as totally out of control as it's been. And it's changing for the reasons that people are really questioning, like, what is actually happening. And so on top of what Dr. Paul is saying is that it's also changing because it never should have been that way in the first place. Much like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, when the food pyramid flips on its head like that, let me ask you this big question.
Oopsie.
Right.
Oopsie, we had it upside down.
Oopsie is right. Okay, so that's a big one, right? That's a big one, but people will be like, oh, it's just food, right? But that same system that just flipped that on its head, we need to question how many other things need to be flipped on its head. How many other things are exactly opposite? How many other recommendations for your health are exactly opposite what they should be? And when I go back to this 12-year-old that gets put on migraine medication, and she's got, let's just say she didn't live to 82. Is she going to be on that this whole time? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And what could we do that could not only increase our longevity, increase the quality of life, but also something that doesn't take away from the system, doesn't clog up the liver, increase inflammation, completely annihilate some visceral organs? What could we do that's going to be less invasive and more effective without robbing Peter to pay Paul? And that's chiropractic, you guys. Like, that's the reason Dr. Paul and I come on here on a continual basis, is to get this message outside of our four walls, because it's really important. And it's actually like moral obligation for us. I mean, we started this to have a lot of fun, to have these discussions come right off. My adjusting room is right through that door right there. To come right off there, talk about what we're seeing in the week. And I love it. It spices us up, but it also, people are listening. They're telling me they're consuming, they're like binging our work now. They are spreading it to their friends and family, and they're finding us, which is awesome. And this message is getting out because it's based on logic.
Okay, that's another mic drop moment out of Dr. Erica. She is spicy again today.
I know. I don't freaking stop.
We didn't even. That was just the first one. I don't think we're getting through all five, but I'm going to jump to the next one in helping people identify when they get pain without injury. Okay, we're talking to the people who say, I just woke up like this. So let's unpack that one a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I just had this.
Where do we start on that one?
I know. So I had this guy start undercare today, and so his mom texted me. So he's a early 20s. I can't, maybe 23, 5. But his mom texted me. She's a good friend of mine. She said, so-and-so is going to call. He needs to get in. He's got this shoulder neck situation going on. And so I'm thinking like something happened in the last couple of weeks, whatever. And so when I sit down with him, he's like, no, this has been going on for a year. And he said, what I'm realizing is that I've never been adjusted. I've never been into the chiropractic office, but when it's not getting better and I'm not doing anything, and I didn't do anything to begin with, I just woke up one day and it had built up like that. I'm like, if you went to sleep and you wake up and you feel like, you had some accident in the middle of the night and you can't move your neck and you can't, like, you are way late to the game. Way late to the game. Now, are we supposed to have pain-free days every single day? No, pain is pay attention, but you're way late to the game if all you did was go to sleep. So what I loved about this guy is that he not only was listening and learning and doing all the things, he also bought a package. It's out of pocket. He bought a package before he left here today, because he just is like, I clearly know this has been going on for a year. And so it's going to take
God bless him, because so many people don't make the connection.
Right.
Or they just say, nope, I didn't. And I mean, you and I both had these patients. Nope. Never had an accident or an injury, slip, trip, fall, anything. Never had nothing. Never, no. Even when you were a kid, no. Never a car accident. No. Did you play sports? Yeah. Well, I never got hurt. So you lived in a bubble your whole life, pretty much. And to Dr. Erica's point, if you just wake up and feel like you have had an accident somewhere in the middle of your night, it's not that you slept wrong. It's just that the mere act of sleeping, your body was able to rest. So when we go into rest, digest, and repair, if it's unable to repair, it will reveal in the morning.
I love that.
And that's how we just wake up with pain. I slept wrong. This whole nonsense of sleeping. Now, I shouldn't say that, because as a menopausal woman, I have had nights where I wake up in the morning and I felt like I broke my hand. Okay.
Or ankle. Or foot.
My ankle. Oh yeah, that's right. I sprained my ankle somewhere in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night.
So all right, I'm not going to be so hard on everybody, but right. But listen, I make fun of myself. I honestly, and Dr. Erica knows this. I'm like, yeah, I sprained my ankle. I just woke up like this. I'm making fun of myself because I know that somewhere I somehow irritated it the day before, even though I had zero pain. But I also know that the same ankle that I sprained while sleeping is also the ankle that I have sprained multiple times over the years. Mm-hmm. So if I did something that previous day that was more inflammatory, maybe I had a glass of wine, maybe I went out with Dr. Erica and we had a meal that was indulgent, and we had espresso martinis. Maybe, it could be anything like that. And when your body has these previous injuries, like, you have to admit that you've had previous injuries before. That's the first thing. When your body has had that kind of stress and there's a little arthritis in there, there's not a lot of room for error. And so now I go to sleep, my espresso martini has created inflammation in my body. And now because that's the injured part, that inflammation goes there. And then I wake up and I'm like, how did I sprain my ankle in the middle of the night? Mm-hmm. How did I must have slept wrong. So it's not the act of sleeping. It's the act of the fact that your body was in repair. You were more inflamed than you should. And it is revealing the things that have been longstanding for so many years. So
yeah. And, I call it tragic sleeping accidents.
Yeah.
Just to sort of make it light, because it's like, we should just be able to go to sleep and wake up. But our body gets bombarded by all these stresses every single day. And so we don't really get a chance to take a break from chiropractic care. Honestly, you guys, like, all the ways so when Dr. Paula wakes up and feels that way, the first thing she'll do is she'll seek out an adjustment. Well, start with water, right? Water, some supplements, vitamin C, and some other, whatever you can do, maybe homeopathic. She'll seek out a yoga class. She'll seek out a chiropractic adjustment, and she'll seek out some movement, some exercise, and all the things that we've talked about. And, because we're constantly building towards a more resilient body by doing all the things we do on a daily, she's able to recover pretty quickly. Same for me. But our bodies just get bombarded by, it's too much. Our world's too much. And there's no way there's not, like, there's a lot of stress. Just being anywhere these days is a lot of stress. So anyway.
Well, I'm looking at this comment by Silly Lily. She says, is it just my imagination, or have you noticed, as I have, that the sun seems more white light than the warm yellow it used to be? Dr. Erica and I send each other videos every day. I cannot tell you how many videos we have sent back and forth over the last couple of years. Why is the blue sky effing so light blue? It's almost white.
Right.
Where is the sun? Like, it's a blue sky. You don't see clouds, but it's white. Why is our sky white? Like, so all the crap, like you said, we're bombarded with so many things. And this is why it's even that much more important to be seeking out chiropractic care, so we can keep our nervous systems regulated, so that we can battle against the things over which we have no control. You have control over your nervous system and regulating that properly. But the stress that comes from all of this outside intervention, you've got to take care of yourself and your little bubble around you. And it's got to start with chiropractic care.
Absolutely. So, okay. So maybe we got 1.5 of the 5 done, and it's already, I know it's already 30 minutes in. So
we could come back. We could come back to them next week. Yeah.
Let's definitely do that. So we'll come back to at least 2, probably, hopefully all 3. but you know how we get. We're super long-winded, and we always want to share as much with you guys as we
Yes.
possibly can. So,
And
do
I
you
will
want
share
to
this before we go. I know we said 30 minutes, but I want to share this real quick, is that I have, I'm going to see a friend. One of the reasons that we're going to cut a couple minutes short. I have known him from yoga for the last 20 some years. And this man changed his life when he was about 45. He was a heavy smoker. He was overweight. He said he couldn't mow his lawn without being winded and having to stop and rest. So he quit smoking. He started exercising. He started coming to yoga. We all call him Yoga Bob. If you've ever been at Center for Yoga, and Eric, I'm sure you've run into him somewhere along the way. His father died at 65. His brother died at 62, colon cancer. He will be 79 in April, and sadly, he's on hospice. So I went to see him a couple of months ago. Honestly, I thought that would be the last time I see him. And he called me yesterday, and I was like, why are you still alive? And he's like, I'm just sitting here. The TV's not working. And I said, I'm coming to see you tomorrow. So anyway, so I'm going to go see my good friend, Yoga Bob. And it's not, you could look at that story and say, well, what's the point if colon cancer is going to get you anyway, which is what he has or whatever it is. But you guys, his family history was showing that he should have been gone 20 years ago. And so he gave himself an extra 20 years. I mean, it's big. It's freaking huge.
It's a big
so
deal.
Think about that when the signals come, pay attention, give us a call. Let's get everybody under chiropractic care.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay,
Have a great week. Okay. See ya.
Bye.